Hi there. This is video 4 for chapter 3. And if you did the response already for chapter 2, you will have been experiencing your own inquiry question. It was about experiencing an inquiry. Some of the steps to go through. So I hope you enjoyed that and found it interesting. That was about who is Cheddar Man. The things I wanted to point out in here, this is all about questions, this chapter. And on page 43 and 44, there are some charts. So if you don't have your textbook out, pause the video and come back when you're ready. On the top of page 43, the big idea, these are always worth looking at to calm yourself down, to sort out all the information. So this one is, the purpose of an inquiry question is to entice your students to think deeply about the mysteries of life. A pretty big challenge. And being able to come up with, questions that really do that may seem hard, but if we get students talking, they come up with these questions. If you think of a 4-year-old, let's say, or a 3-year-old, they have all kinds of big questions. And sometimes we get so tired of trying to answer them that we say enough. We even do that in school, in kindergarten, in grade 1. We don't have time and we might discourage those questions. But if you think about them, a 3 or 4-year-old is asking things like, what makes a rainbow? Why are the stars shining only at night? These are big questions. They're quite capable of, thinking about big ideas, thinking deeply. And on page 43, the chart at the bottom of the page there, it says above the chart, there are no right inquiry questions. Only inquiry questions that stimulate thought, discussion, and drive learning. You will know when a question does that. You'll know when it doesn't. If it just kind of falls on deaf ears and people don't even pay attention to it. You'll know when a student presents a good question or you come up with one. But often it's a case of just listening to the students, because if we really believe that they are interested in learning and we trust that, we'll get the questions. So this chart might help you. It continues on the next page, and what I like is it zooms in on subject areas. So, for example, let me see, social studies on the first page. Things like, what makes a good community? That's a big question, because there's all kinds of things that students will come up with. What makes a good friend? Wouldn't that be a great question for JK or SK? Whom should we care for? Another great question. It could be elders. It could be the people beside us. It could be somebody in a far off land. Do we need rules? Again, that's a question that could go right to a junior kindergarten level. This book is focused on junior, but there's a lot in here that goes for any grade level. And if you look on the next page, there's questions for the arts, for math, health. So if you feel this is awkward for you, it'd be good to read through some of these to start to get the feel for the kind of questions that you're looking for. On the next page, 48, that little chart at the top also might be handy. This is a good starting place for how do you know when a question is really good. So the first one, I'm just going to read through these. Number 1, an effective inquiry question, number 1, is an invitation to think, not recall, summarize, or detail. An invitation to think. Big ideas, not restricted. The second one, an effective inquiry question, comes from genuine curiosity and or confusion about the world. So these are the questions that children bring up more. Number 3, an effective inquiry question makes you think about something in a way you haven't before. I'm hoping that's what that little response about Cheddar Man might do for you. Number 4, it invites both deep thinking and deep feelings. If you think back over assignments that we've had where I've asked you for personal responses, I've said, here's a new idea. According to your experience, what does it mean to you? Like, have you had a sense of something similar in your own life? As soon as you start doing that and connecting your life, your emotions come in. And sometimes those responses were very moving to read. I'm sure they were very moving to write. This is what we're after, even with children. The next one, number 5, this is page 45, if you forgot. An effective inquiry question leads to more good questions. Once we start getting students to feel really comfortable with learning through talking, sharing their ideas, asking questions, we'll have a ton of questions. And the last one, an effective inquiry question, asks you to think about the essential ideas in a discipline. So, that's where this 2-page of charts can come in handy. Look at a subject area, a discipline, and these questions are going to be designed to apply across many, many lessons in that discipline. They're general questions. Okay, moving along. At the back of your book, in the handout pages, if you can find 3D, that would be. I didn't want to have you mess up your handouts, so I've done worksheets on these, and I've made a worksheet that looks pretty much like this one. I think this could also be adapted for use with non-readers. You could just use the pictures, and what do I see? The light bulb, I guess, is good. I might put little lines from the eyes or something to reinforce that with little ones. What do I think? I think they could handle some kind of picture question. The idea is to get them familiar with these different ways of looking at a question. And so the worksheet asks you to do the same thing. Finally, there is another worksheet, 3G, that might be especially helpful to you. I made a mistake when I sent my notes for the videos. For video 4, I said 2G. It should be 3G. And it's a teacher checklist about curiosity and questions in my classroom. So it would be helpful, I think, to your understanding of this whole idea of questioning, for you to go down this and just see where you stand. It's looking at yourself and your own practice in the classroom. So there's no worksheet to go with this video per se, but keep reading and keep chatting. I put a posting up that I'd really like to have at least one contact with each person at least once a week. So just say hi if you're online. Sometimes, that leads into something that you forgot you wanted to tell me or forgot you wanted to ask. So keep that communication open. And I sent you an email of the worksheets for 2 assignments. The others don't have worksheets. You've got 4 assignments total. Do them at any time you're ready. I also sent you an email with the worksheets for responses 1, 2, and 3. So I'll be sending out another page of that when I get that done. So that's about it for this video, and I hope those who went to the Winnipeg conference had a great time. Thanks.